So back once again, Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, and we're starting off a little bit different in the garage, of course, putting together the selection of my favourite cars, of course. Brum, the 2CV, the Huracan, had so much success in this car, cannot speak highly enough of it. Yes, could do with a little bit more top end, but handling model, that car is fantastic. The Apollo Intenso, of course, a free car in game. Absolutely bonkers. If you guys haven't progressed to level 60 to unlock that one yet, you are missing out. The Veyron, probably the most expensive car I've bought in the game so far. I don't love it. It is fun. I probably should have the 918 Porsche there instead. And of course, possibly one of the best looking cars ever made, the Jaguar E-Type. Absolutely sensational looking car. Love it for all the classic races. It is pretty much my go-to for the classic racing. And of course, no garage would be complete without the Ferrari F40. Untouched, unmolested, unfiltered, an absolutely batshit crazy car. I love that F40. In game, I don't think much comes close to it. But this got me thinking, what else do we have in the garage? What else have we not used? Of course, bang the gold version of the game, we got a bunch of cars that we never really touched. We have the Camaro ZL1, very lively rear end car, largely unusable. The F-Type SVR I think is an absolute phenomenal car in game, an insane all-rounder off-road, on-road. The Maserati MC20, I've not actually used that car all too much. I probably am going to have to dive into the world of the MC20 soon. The Jaguar SVR and the Mercedes SLS AMG, another one I've not used all too much. It is very tail happy, but we might use that one in the future. But there's one car in the garage that I haven't used so far from the pre-launch of the game, from the buying the gold pack essentially. It is the Ford GT, the 2006 variant of the Ford GT. I don't know why I've not used it much. Perhaps it's the stigma around rear-wheel drives in the game. But with the game kind of developing, I know there's not been much of an upgrade, but the handling model seems to start to come to us the more we play the game. And some of these rear-wheel drives are actually usable. The Ford GT in particular, it is, in my perception, a very tail-happy car. Now, sticking back some power through this as an F-150 just pulls out in front of us, absolutely fantastic. But my perception of the Ford GT is it is very tail-happy, and it's going to be incredibly hard to handle in this game, in the model that this game has built for us. It is, of course, heavily focused towards four-wheel drive vehicles. But we need to start opening up a little bit here. There's no new cars added here, so let's go back to the cars that we got at the launch of the game. Let's go and stick some upgrades onto the GT, painting this one in particular the correct colour, which in my opinion is the blue with the white stripes. Sticking all of the mods onto it, we know it's going to be batshit crazy, it's going to be so unbelievably quick, but just how quick will the GT be and how will it handle the power that we've now applied to this one? What I can tell you straight away, this thing accelerates like not a lot of other cars in this game. It feels like it accelerates like a hypercar with the care system with the electric boost behind it. I can't explain how quick this car accelerates. I was not expecting this. Jumping into the GT with all of the mods going to it, revving towards 8,000 RPM. We're just going to get straight onto this, but I'm very intrigued right now. Get straight into the Biden Conquer, first race for today in the Ford GT. We do have another GT beside us, the newer one and one of the same age. We'll launch this one off the line, get the power down. It's slightly wet, maybe not ideal for the slick tyres, but it does get off the line fantastically well. We do cut short second gear, that we could have stretched that gear out a lot more. The R8 diving up the outside, the GT diving up the inside. We do just manage to keep the back end in check, coming around the slightly damp corner, and again we're very cautious in my opinion coming around that corner there. Heavy braking here, the R8 still ahead of us, but it's having a very troublesome time getting any power down. We know that the back end of the R8 rear-wheel drive is very, very lively as it just cuts in front of us coming into that right hand into left hand, but we do cut up the inside of the R8, start to get the power down uphill, take out our mandatory lamppost in any race, you guys know that by now. Trying to get the power down there nice and quick, the back end of the GT does just step out on us ever so slightly, come off the throttle, back on, and that thing's well under control. We have a little gap to second place, into the right hander coming up here. The 2016 Ford GT does dive up the inside of us. It's going to be an interesting battle here. You know, there's a decade between these two cars, and we do have a little bit of a tussle there through the right-hander with the newer version of the GT. But it's going to be interesting how the 2006 GT stacks up against its newer counterpart here. As we come downhill, I do expect that newer GT to really close the gap on us. we don't make the best of efforts there. It's a very tricky road surface. It is slightly damp. The race, of course, categorising it as a dry race for slick tyres. What we have got fitted, we know that is an issue, but we are managing to get the power down, negotiate the corners pretty well here in the 4GT. Very, very surprised with this car. I am very unhappy I haven't used this car more. It does handle remarkably well for a rear-wheel drive and test drive limited. The power, I cannot describe just how much power goes through the back end of this car. The acceleration going up over 8,000 RPM is just absolutely crazy. We do have the newer GT all over the back end of us, so we know we've got to be clean and tidy around this point in the race we've got here. It does appear that newer GT though has lost its position on the road, we'll say. It went off track. We are pretty much clear out in first place, and we do just manage to miss out the bus stop or the shelter, whatever it was that was just there. Let's get the power down here. We can really see how well this accelerates. Well over 8,000 RPM. I cannot describe just how unbelievable amount of power goes through the back end of this car, guys. If you haven't tried the 06 4GT yet, please jump in and give it a shot. Coming to this left-hander again, we're going to be very cautious. It's very slippy, a very difficult road surface. We do manage to negotiate it, but we do take out the first place here to start off the little mini-series we're going to do here in the 06 4GT. Moving straight over to race number 2, again we've got Urban Cavalcade here. I do think this is probably one of the best S-Class races in the game. I love this track. Once again, we've got Huracans, we've got R8s, we've got other 4GTs. It's going to be good to see how this one now stacks up on a completely dry road surface with slick tyres. Again, we're going to get dive bombed into this corner, but this happens every single time. The McLaren in particular, and the 4GT really taking us out there. Zooming over, not good enough to get our elbows out here to get us back into first place, as the AI just jump on the brakes into that right-hander. Absolutely no reason for it. Don't understand why they slowed down that much, but we won't complain. We do take back out first place as we start to navigate around the little tricky parts of this track. We know there's cars that will dive out in the street, this little junction here in particular. A car will always dive out on this circuit. It is quite tricky to navigate, but when you start to do it a few more times, you know where to expect the AI cars to pop out. What we have done though is pull ourselves a nice lead to the rest of the pack as we come down to the left-hander heavy braking zone, cut the curb, get the power down and prepare for the right-hander up ahead here. Once again we're going to cut the curb, missing out some lampposts surprisingly, get the power back down and have a little play about this little snaking section. Left-hander flowing into a right-hander, does have a little bit of understeer there, which is fantastic. Back into this left-hander kicking back once again, getting power down. We can see that the GT here does actually handle fantastically well. As we do have a taxi blocking, I thought that was going to block us coming into the left-hand hairpin there. It does not, which is good. We can now push forward as we do start to come up the right-hander uphill section here. I am very, very surprised at how well this GT really handles. There is obviously the big stigma with the game that it's purely focused towards four-wheel drive vehicles, and I would fully agree with that. You pair this up against a Lamborghini Huracan or an Aventador with a fantastic four-wheel drive system, they will undoubtedly outperform the GT. But when you're coming in to just have fun in some of these races, like I'm trying to do in this game, the GT, being rear-wheel drive with stacks of power, unbelievable amount of acceleration, I actually think this car is right up there. Handling, it does handle fantastically well. Its brakes are sharp as you like. I'm very, very impressed with the 4GT. Guys, let me know if you've tried the 2006 GT yet. If you haven't, please do jump in and experience this one. Apologies for the cough. Again, another car will always dive bomb you coming into that corner there. Another one, guys, if you're interested in the tune, I've applied to this one. I did spend about 15-20 minutes building a tune for it, setting up the suspension, the gear ratios and everything. If you want that, let me know. I'll share it into the comment section down in the YouTube in this YouTube video if that's something you're interested in. Back to the race, about 15% left, whatever it might be, 25% left it is, struggling to count today. I think you guys will all agree, the GT is far more than capable of performing in a game based towards essentially four-wheel drive cars. The rear-wheel drive GT is absolutely sensational, flicking in and out some of these tight corners as we do get stuck on the shrubbery, get off that, the shrubbery on the left-hand side there. We can see the GT is far more than capable. Left-hander, cut across the track here, get the power straight back down and enjoy the acceleration of the Ford GT. Up into the right-hander, we know we can stay tight here, missing a couple of traffic cars, push through the left hand, right hand, cross the finish line, and take out the second win for the Ford GT in today's video. And of course, we will push forward with the third and final race. Slightly out once again, Ferrari Pista, that's going to be interesting. Also a Caterham at the back there, another kind really want to try out in the game. That Pista is going to be interesting if we can stack up against it. You know, the Pista is remarkably quick in the game. Off the line, the Pista does out-accelerate us off the line in this third race for today, as we do lose the back end there. And again, apparently this was a dry race. We've came into this one with slick tyres. It's very annoying, but we'll push on, guys. We do overtake rather, the Pista into that left-hander. Right-hander here, taxi sitting in the middle of the lane. We should have knew that was going to happen there, but it does seem like the AI cars have came to the same fate, and they have also crashed with the taxi in the middle of the road. But we can now get all of that power down there. The back end stepping out ever so slightly, under full throttle in third gear. Quite scary to say the least. Heavy braking zone, left-hander, we know we can cut this one ever so slightly. I'm going to be very cautious over curves, especially with wet track, slick tyres. Probably going to try and stay away from the curves in this race. Hugging the curve on that left-hander, negotiating that one quite well. Power down into the right-hander, braking again, trying to avoid the curves as much as we can. Left-hander up here, a nice little snaking section there. We can see how well the GT is flowing with the circuit, the track, whatever it is we want to call it, that we have on this race. The AI, Misha Parekh, I believe it to be in the 488 Pista, isn't all too far behind, so we know we have to be clean, tidy to finish off the race. We are about 50% of the way through, but the GT is more than capable here of, you know, stacking up against some of the newer supercars in game. The likes of the 488 Pista, the Huracans, the Ventolin, whatever they may be, the GT is absolutely fantastic. Don't know why I've not used this car more. Better bottom dollar, guys. I'm going to be using the Ford GT more and more as we get through the game. Let's push through. Let's get through the rest of this. Well, 30% or so of this race. Right-hander here. We will clip the curb here, but I do remember in this race with the Huracan, we rolled it, clipping that curb. So being extra cautious. Hairpin here. We try to do a handbrake turn, make a mess of it, take out some barriers, but we don't really lose too much time. We can now start to push forward, get the power down. Left-hander into a big snaking right-hander, if I remember correctly. We usually have a car sitting in and around about here. We don't have one just now. It is a little bit further back. Yeah, starting to place some of the AI cars where they typically are in these races is obviously fortunate for us when we're starting to do more of these races. The GT, we are losing slightly here. The road seems to be getting wetter. The back end stepping out a little bit more when we're trying to get any power down. But it does seem like that is us on the home straight. Let's just stretch the legs of the GT, enjoy all of that acceleration. What a fantastic car, guys. We'll round out there with the third race win for today. Now, I do hope you guys have got the GT in your garage. If you have, please jump over, try it out, stick a tune on it. If you want my tune, let me know. I'll put it in the description, in the comments, wherever it is, guys, so you can enjoy this one. It is absolutely bonkers. It does stack up with the rest of the supercars in game. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, guys. I hope you have used the Ford GT. I'll round it up there for today. Nothing else to add. If you enjoyed today's video, smash the like button, subscribe, tap on the bell, all the usual good stuff. And I'll catch you tomorrow for the next update on Test Drive Unlimited. Solar Crown.